So much to unpack. It's OnePlus Nord, that's their value brand. Buds 3 Pro, there's no non-Pro. So why are they called Pro? Is it because they have active noise canceling? In the truly wireless earbud world, does the word Pro simply mean active noise canceling? And if so, do we have Apple to blame for that? I don't know if my hands are really greasy right now, but I am streaking up everything. This is kind of cool. It's got a sparkly look. To me, that means recycled plastic. I don't hate that at all. More on that later. What else is in here? Ooh, it's like a clamshell. It's me. Is this their logo? What is this guy? Who is he? The Labs did open this package up before. These silicone ear tips were in a little packet, and a charging cable with OnePlus Red. It's A to C, and it's really short. This is about as short as they come. On the bottom of the case, we have a pairing button and a USB-C port. And then you can see the lid is matte, it's not speckled. This is brand new plastic, baby. Decent feel, pretty small case, and the buds themselves. Stem design, ooh, but they're tapered. They're kind of chungus on the ends. That's different. It's glossy near the ear, and then the stem is more of a soft touch. There are 3 microphones on each earbud. There's also, you can see the kind of pogo pins for the charging. That's where they make contact with the case. Oh, you can definitely screw up which one goes where. And when I plugged them in, I had a charging light on the front. Oh, it's yellow actually. There are 3 microphones on each earbud. There's one at the bottom here. There's one at the top of the stem. And then there's one right by the driver there. And interestingly, there's also an indicator for this being the right earbud, and that is a hole. Probably a vent for the drivers. They come in 2 colorways, black or jade, it's kind of green. I think the design language overall, for some reason, is giving Smurfs to me. They're just kind of bulbous. They don't go very deep in my ears, which could be related to an issue that I'll tell you about a little bit later. As far as the feeling of them being, you know, on my body and not gonna fall out, they feel secure. They're IP55 rated, so that's pretty good on the dust support. Lots of earphones just don't even certify the ingress protection for dust and debris. 5 is the second highest you can get for that. And then for the water protection, a lot of earbuds just have 4, which is splashes. These have a 5, which I believe is jet sprays from all angles. The next level up would be submersion. They're not ready for that. The buds themselves, 9. 38 for the case, 50 for the total. On the nose, that's, wow. It's like they planned that. Trying the large tip, it actually doesn't feel like it's sealed any better than the medium. I think the problem here is how far in they go, not how girthy or narrow the tip I chose was. The app does have a fit test that we will do later. First, I wanna see how they sound and how they tested from the lab, but we'll do that after this message from our sponsor.
Magic Spoon. Put a spell on your taste buds with their health-conscious cereals. They have 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 to 5 net grams of carbs per serving. Absolute sorcery. And their familiar flavors like fruity and frosted will leave you enchanted. Follow the link below to conjure up a Magic Spoon variety box and use code Linus to get $5 off.
All right, we are paired up and ready to groove, baby. Ooh, they get loud. Oh, these are bassy. I usually don't turn earphones up to the max while I'm doing these videos because it's usually unbearable. This is not unbearable. That doesn't mean that they don't go super loud. It could just mean that they don't get super harsh and uncomfortable at loud volumes. I mean, they're definitely loud enough. You're gonna be able to drown out the crappy music at the gym with your own crappier music. Of course, at the volumes, they're gonna leak sound a little bit too for the people around you. Now let's check out how they measured. You can see that the frequency response is kind of V-shaped. There's a big bump in the bass and an even bigger bump in the treble. But one thing to note though is when we plugged these into the ears of our mannequin head that tests earphones, and then we ran the app fit test, we could only get a fit of average, not a good fit. We got good fits on our own ears, but not for the mannequin head. And so that kind of shakes our confidence in our test results a little bit. If it had a better seal, it may have had an even bigger bump in the bass over here around 60 Hertz, which would make it even more V-shaped. And maybe even more bass below 40 Hertz. We don't know this for sure. That's just a charitable interpretation of what maybe could have happened. The app does offer 3 different EQ presets. The default is balanced, but you also can increase the bass, that's the red line on the screen here, or you can turn on Serenade, which is weird because it lowers the bass but keeps the treble the same. You might think that's getting it towards being more natural because on the balance profile, the bass is overcooked. However, since it just makes the graph more and more skewed, it might actually sound less balanced to you. Just summing up the sound profile, you're gonna hear bass kicks are gonna be really prominent, vocals are really forward, the mids are kind of depressed. A lot of people will like these, but if you're after a neutral sound, these are just not very neutral out of the box. Let's take a look at the controls and the app. You can adjust the controls independently on both left and right. By default, single tap does nothing, which is actually not uncommon because it helps reduce inadvertent taps. Double tap is for the next song, triple tap is for the previous song, and long touch, press and hold, does nothing. And by default, they are completely symmetrical. So I guess for play and pause, they just want you to take it out of the ear? That's kind of crazy. I'm gonna turn that on to, play and pause. It's the only option they give you for single tap. When you hit it, you do get a tone like beep. Options for double tap, way more, okay. You can also make that play and pause. You can do previous or next, you can do the voice assistant or game mode. Interestingly, you can't make triple tap play and pause. They just think that's preposterous. And here's the volume controls. Long touch can go volume up or volume down. I would put down on the left and up on the right. Let's see how well that works. Oh wow, that takes forever to engage. And then the steps are pretty slow too. When you hit it, it actually gives you like a 3, 2, 1, go kind of sound in your ear. It goes beep, beep, boop. Now it is adjusting. That is so weird. It's like it has to unlock before it's gonna start adjusting the volume. It just takes so long, I would never use that. Imagine someone comes up to talk to you and you're like, hold on a second, let me just turn this down. Hold on. Sorry, it's still pretty loud. Okay, now I'm ready. Like all noise canceling earbuds these days, they have the transparency mode off and active noise canceling, but these ones actually have different levels of noise cancellation. Mild, moderate, and max. And we did some measurements, but just with max. It's not the strongest active noise canceling we've ever measured, but again, we had that seal issue and that could be at play. In particular, you can see around 40, 60 hertz range that it's really not doing very much compared to just having your earbud in with the active noise canceling off, just treating them kind of like earplugs. That's what the green line is. You can see that the red active noise canceling line is actually higher than the passive green line, from around 1,000 to 2,500 hertz, meaning that the active noise canceling actually blocks out less sound than just having them in your ears in this range. And this is something we've seen before. We're not sure what the mechanism is there, but it's not unique to these buds. OnePlus advertises up to 49 dB of active noise cancellation. We don't know at what frequency that claim is from. We only got, not even 30. Again, grain of salt because we didn't have a great seal in the mannequin. I'm calling it that now.
Let's do a mic test now. The phone has been taken away, so you know the sound's coming through the earbuds. You can see roll-offs at the very high end and then also around 100 hertz or 200 hertz, and that is actually normal. You want the bass to roll off a bit so that the people on your call don't hear all the rumblings around you. The reason that it rolls off at the high end is actually just because of the way the Bluetooth protocol works. But this is how the mic sounds.
I've just done a fit test and I found out using the medium-sized tips, I only get an average seal on both ears. But if I wear the bigger ones, I get an average seal in this ear and a good seal in this ear, because my head ain't symmetrical. In terms of battery life, a little bit crazy. 5.5 hours on the buds and 20 hours including the charging case if the ANC is on, which normally I would say I'm gonna have that on all the time. However, since the ANC doesn't really do that much, and in light of what I'm about to tell you, I might just have it off. When the ANC is off, the battery life like more than doubles to 12 hours on the buds and 44 hours with the charge case and the buds. That is a crazy proportion. Usually it doesn't get that much better. Jeez. And if you charge them for 10 minutes, you get 11 hours of playback. Again, with no ANC. That's just silly. Let's talk price. For $80 US, honestly, I think I'd rather buy the CMF buds instead. They're cheaper. They come in more fun colors. They got that cool dial on the case, which I don't care about, but just overall, they sounded better. I don't see a reason to buy these instead of those. Sorry, OnePlus, that might hurt a little. But if you can't get the CMF buds, these are okay. I think you can do better. They're okay. I don't love the seal. I don't love the look. They're kind of meh, but they're only 80 bucks. They don't feel very pro. Yes, they have ANC, kind of. I'm gonna just call these the Nord Buds 3. Come at me, OnePlus. Thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't seen our CMF Buds video, go check that out. Save ya money.